Hey Aubrey, what's happening for you today? What's going on?
Oh, it's been a great day here in Arizona. It's finally cooling off. We've had a couple
Ah,
of nice weeks in September, and I am ready. I'm ready for the fall. I'm
yeah,
ready
I
for cooler
bet.
weather.
Ready to get away from the warm weather that you get
Uh-huh.
there for sure. Yeah. Well, let's talk about inconvenient things, Aubrey. Do you ever have to
Mm.
do things that are just really inconvenient?
Yes, as a mom, I feel like most
Mm.
of my day is spent doing things that are inconvenient for me, right? I'm often
Oh,
like, I've got to do it because the kids need it, right? What about you? Do you
right.
often have to do inconvenient
Um,
things?
I guess anytime if I have to go to the post office, I find that
Oh,
highly
yeah.
inconvenient and
Waiting in
annoying.
line,
Yes, or any kind of government thing where maybe you're
the
getting a new license.
DMV.
Oh, the DMVs. Oh my gosh. I shared the whole episode I had with my aunt's car, trying to get a car retitled in California, hardest thing I've ever done.
Oh, yes. A
So things like
debacle.
that.
Is that the word you're trying to come up
Debacle was
with? A
what I was
whole
looking for.
debacle.
Yes. Exactly. So what are we
Yes.
what are we talking about? Inconvenient things today.
Yes, because there are a lot of this is part two of a
Mm.
three-part series on prefixes. And there are a lot of mistakes that are made with this prefix in, where someone will
Hmm.
accidentally use un. And inconvenient is one of
Yes.
them we're going to talk about today, where sometimes people will say unconvenient. This is
Yes.
tricky.
And this is something that I feel like our native speaking friends could use this episode. I'll speak for myself. The people that I know, like, will make these mistakes. This is not just an
Absolutely.
English learning thing. This is a native speaker thing.
Yes, native
Yes.
speakers make these errors, which makes it difficult because if you're hearing these errors, then you'll just repeat what native
Oh,
speakers
yeah.
say. So we're going to set you straight today so that you're aware of these
Hmm.
common errors.
Yeah, we want to learn it the right way. So that's why we're here today. So, what are some easy errors to make, Aubrey?
Yes. So, in often means not capable of being, but
Hmm.
when you know the prefix un usually means not. It
Right?
is very common that, we have known and then unknown,
Hmm.
believable and unbelievable. So it makes sense often to add un when you're trying to say the opposite, not, right? But in
Yes.
English, often instead we use this prefix in.
Yes, so important to know. And again, we want you to learn it the right way. So today is really about kind of remembering chunks and remembering them in context, right, Aubrey? And this is a three-part series, so we have a lot of opportunities to pick up on these skills.
Exactly. Yes. Stay to the end. We'll share details about part one if you missed it. And be sure to hit follow so that you don't miss part three. This is a really great series.
Yeah, I love when we get a chance to talk about pronunciation. I think we don't talk about it. Well, pronunciation, not today, but we do have a course that just went live that should be live right now, Aubrey, our new pronunciation course. So, what is this course all about?
Yes, and this really is actually really appropriate for this episode because a lot of
Yes,
these words are among the most difficult to pronounce in
that's
English.
true.
They
That's
have a
true.
lot
There's
of
a little
syllables.
pronunciation.
These prefixes sometimes are hard to pronounce, right? So,
Fair
this
point.
pronunciation course, we're very excited to give you all of the skills you need to have clear pronunciation. It's not about having the
Yes.
perfect accent. You can
Yeah.
have an accent, but you want to be able to enunciate clearly.
Exactly. When we sat down to build this course, to ideate on this course, we could have gone into great depth in the American accent, right? We could have taught you all the regional accents in the US, and that would have been fun. But what we think you guys need is global English for, clear English pronunciation for global business, right? We need to be able to be understood using the British accent or hearing the British accent, the American accent, the South African accent, the Aussie accent. So it's not so much about accents, they're all included in the course. It's about what are the secrets of the fact that English is a stress time language, not a syllable time language. What does that mean? You learn about that in the course.
Exactly. So whether you're learning English to work or travel, everyone, no matter what your goal is, you want to be understood. You want to be able to speak
Hmm.
clearly, and you learn every skill you need in this course in order to make your speech understood.
Yeah, it's about learning what is the heartbeat of English? What is that
Yes.
rhythm? And there are a lot of native speaker secrets kind of behind that we show you in the course. So Aubrey, where can our listeners go to get access?
Yes, go to allearsenglish.com/pronunciation,
Hmm.
Pronunciation.
Yes, this is going to be the missing piece for a lot of our listeners. This is the first pronunciation course we've ever developed. I'm so excited to fill that gap for our listeners with this course. So good.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Right?
Okay, let's dive in. We have five of these for you today. So the
Yes.
first one is, as we mentioned, inconvenient, the common mistake being unconvenient. Of course, this means something that causes difficulty, trouble, or discomfort. So let's give a couple of
Yep.
examples
Okay, so first example, it was inconvenient for me to attend the meeting because I had another appointment at the same time. Yes, we use this all the time. And
all
that
the time.
conversation that you and I had at the top of the show, very common, right?
Exactly. We might say the store's location is inconvenient for me since it's clear across town from where I live. So,
Yeah.
yes, a very common word. And you will hear native speakers as well say unconvenient. So, don't make that
Mm-hmm.
mistake and remember that this is one that has the prefix in,
Exactly.
inconvenient.
And you also have the option of saying not convenient. That's not very
Yes,
convenient for me. I think we should meet somewhere else, for example, right? We can do
exactly.
that. Mhm.
Absolutely, especially to avoid repetition. If you've already
Mhm.
said something's inconvenient, then later you might be like, yeah, that's just not at all convenient.
Yes. But the next one actually is one that I'd be less likely to put not with, and I would go with the
Mm,
full indescribable. Um, let's talk about it, Aubrey. So it's
yeah.
indescribable.
Indescribable means you can't describe it. It's too extraordinary, maybe intense or unusual to be described. Often we'll just use it to mean amazing. That is
Hmm.
indescribable. But the
Yeah.
common error would be to say undescribable. Instead,
Hmm.
you want to use the prefix in,
Yeah.
indescribable.
This one evokes a sense of awe, right? It's just something
Yes.
is amazing. The sense of pride after landing our first client was indescribable. Years of effort had finally paid off. Or do you know, Aubrey, when you go into like a diner, they often have their first dollar on the wall, the first dollar they earned. Have you seen that before?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's
Right?
kind of
That
getting at
feeling
that.
of that
Mhm.
first dollar is indescribable.
Very
Absolutely. When you
cool.
open a store and you're so
Yeah.
excited. Totally.
Yeah, so cool, so cool. It's good to
Oh,
share the dreams of your life and the accomplishments with
absolutely.
this word. What's another one?
You might say, when I got the job, my excitement was truly indescribable.
Hmm.
So, yeah, this is great. And what a way to connect. This word is one of
Yes.
the best, at least this episode, for connecting with others. Because when you
Hmm.
have these indescribable experiences and emotions, you want to be able to share them with others.
Yeah, you kind of need a word that's big enough for your feelings, and this is one of them, right?
Exactly. You don't want to say,
Hmm.
very good, awesome,
Yeah,
right?
no, don't
You
do
need a
that.
bigger word.
You need a bigger, more rare word, right? So that's connection right there. Next one, incapable, right? And we don't,
Exactly.
the mistake we're avoiding here is you might hear a native speaker say, not, again, they might say uncapable. They might say
Hmm.
uncapable, but that's wrong. Okay.
Exactly, right? You want to use the prefix in, incapable, which means lacking the ability or capacity to do something. For
Hmm.
example, I think that I'm incapable of lifting this couch without help. Like I
Yeah.
can't do it.
Or she was incapable of hiding her excitement when she heard the good news. Yeah.
Yeah. And like you
Nice.
said, Lindsay, for this one, you could say not capable. I am not capable of
Sure.
carrying this couch on my own, right?
Yeah.
But if you're
Yeah.
wanting to use this bigger word with the prefix, be sure to use in,
Yeah.
incapable.
Yeah. And for most of these, you can put the not. You can
Hmm.
put the not. Just a few that are a little more chunky on their own, like indescribable. That's more of a chunk in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's almost maybe because it's too much of a mouthful to say not
Mm.
describable. We just don't
Yeah,
hear
it's
it that way very
awkward.
often.
It's
Yep.
awkward. What would be the next one?
All right. Inaccurate. So the mistake is unaccurate. You might hear
Hmm.
native speakers say unaccurate, but this should have the prefix in, inaccurate, which means
Hmm.
not correct, containing
Right.
errors or mistakes.
Yeah. And so, for example, the report was filled with inaccurate data, which led the team to make the wrong decision. That's not good. Never good.
Exactly, right? Or
Hmm.
she realized her assumption was inaccurate. Just
Hmm.
means that it's not correct.
Perfect. All right. There's still another one, Aubrey. Amazing. Okay. Indefensible. This one's
Yeah.
good. So a native speaker might make a mistake and say undefensible.
Yes. And
Um,
interestingly, I looked all of these up in the dictionary to make sure that I was
uh,
correct about the correct prefix. And this word, undefensible, does exist in the dictionary, but I've
okay.
never heard a native speaker say it in the United States, at
Yeah.
least. So
Yeah,
it's
I
going
haven't
to
either.
be, it's going to be either because it's out of fashion or I'm not sure. It will be interpreted as a mistake by most native
Hmm.
speakers. So I
Yeah.
recommend indefensible.
Yeah, it might be like it's used in like legalese or something
That could
in the
be.
legal trial world or something.
But
I
not
have no
in
idea.
common conversation.
Right, which is what we're focusing on this show, right, Aubrey?
Right. I actually heard someone at a volleyball game say this not that long ago. They were like, that
Oh.
serve was undefensible. And somebody else
Mm.
was like, don't you mean indefensible?
Oh, or
So
was that you that made that correction?
no, I didn't. I don't correct people's grammar. I really don't. But I did think it. I was like, that I don't think that's right.
Yeah. I know. I'm not a grammar corrector either, but I do correct in my head.
Yeah,
Right.
same
Yeah, for
sometimes.
sure. Yeah, but you don't want to be that person because no
But
one
then I
likes
was
that
surprised
person.
when I looked it up in the dictionary, and that word does exist because it sounds wrong
Mm.
to me. We just don't, at least not in the States, we
Yeah, it
don't
sounds
use
wrong.
it in conversation.
Yeah. So, for example, his behavior in the meeting was completely indefensible. Even his closest colleagues refused to back him up. Yeah.
Yeah, it means there was no excuse for it, right?
Yeah, he
There,
was
it's
really
not
bad.
justifiable. No one
Mm.
could defend it.
What's another example?
All right. The lawyer realized that her client's actions were morally indefensible, even if they weren't technically illegal. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
people would not defend her. It's if it's
Yes.
something is morally indefensible, most people would disagree.
Exactly. Love it. Okay, Aubrey, we are back from break. I think we should do a role play. So here, you and I are friends having breakfast at a cafe.
All
Great.
right, let's do it.
Yes. Okay. Hey, thanks for meeting here. I've been wanting to try this place, but I know it's kind of inconvenient since it's not near any subway stops.
No problem. The pastries make up for it. That chocolate croissant I just had was indescribable. I can't even put into words how good it was.
True. Have you ever tried to make croissants? I tried once and I don't know what I did wrong, but they ended up flat and sad.
I'm impressed you even attempted. I'm totally incapable of baking anything that fancy.
I feel like that's inaccurate. Remember when you made that amazing tiramisu?
Oh, yeah, that's true. But then I tried to make cannolis, and the mess I made of them is completely indefensible.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like any time I have a chocolate croissant outside of Paris, I'm disappointed. So I just don't get
Mm.
them.
Well, have you tried, and this is for anyone who has a Trader Joe's near them, have you tried the chocolate croissants that are frozen at Trader Joe's?
I have not.
It's like a
No.
little box, and there are four
Oh,
frozen ones in
dangerous.
there, so they haven't risen yet. They're small. You take
Okay.
them out and you put them on a pan, and they rise all night long. You
Oh,
bake them in the
no.
morning, and they're just like you got them out of a French bakery.
That
No
sounds
lie.
dangerous.
It
Okay. All
is.
right.
Maybe
All
don't
right.
ever get them because they're not
Yeah,
good
maybe
for you,
don't
but
ever. Yeah,
so
yeah.
delicious.
I'll eat
Huge
all
plug
four
for
at the
Trader
same time.
Joe's.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. You're welcome, Trader Joe's. Love it.
Yeah.
All right, let's break down our role play. So I said, thank you for meeting here. I know it's kind of inconvenient. Very common
Yes.
thing to say, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And a couple of these did feel almost a little formal for this conversation among friends, but this one didn't, right?
Yeah.
Inconvenient. Oh, I know it's inconvenient. This
hmm
we would say just like this, even in a very
hmm
casual conversation.
Yes. And then what did you say after that, Aubrey?
And then I said, this chocolate croissant I just had was indescribable. And same, I would
hmm
use this in a regular conversation just to emphasize how amazing it was.
Yeah, and you're really punching the in, right? Indescribable.
Indescribable.
You're
Yes.
slowing down and you're punching that in much more than you would with inconvenient because it's not a word that you're
Good point.
lingering on, right? Inconvenient is
Hmm.
just not convenient for you, but indescribable. You're talking about something amazing, so something lush, like delicious,
Yeah, that's
right?
a really good point that if
Mhm.
you wanted to emphasize inconvenient, you'd need to add like really or very. It was
Right.
really inconvenient. Whereas
hmm
indescribable, you can emphasize that one by punching the in more. It was indescribable.
Yes, I love it.
Interesting.
And then you said, I'm impressed you even attempted. I'm totally incapable of baking anything that fancy.
Yeah,
Right.
and this is another one where I have to add totally to
Yeah.
emphasize it. I'm not going to say like incapable. I'll say I'm
No.
totally incapable.
Exactly. And then what, Aubrey? What did
Then
I
you
say?
said, I feel like that's inaccurate. Remember when you
hmm
made that amazing tiramisu? And this is
hmm
one where I would probably say, I don't think that's right, or I don't think that's accurate, right? This one
Right.
felt a little formal. Maybe you would use it more
Okay.
at work. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, maybe sometimes with friends, it's fun to mix it up and say things in a different
True.
way.
And some
Especially
people
if you're
use
word
more
nerds.
often just a more elevated vocabulary. I'm impressed by that. And so they might say it.
Yeah, like I said, especially if you're both word nerds and you like language, I could see maybe you might drop that. But I
Yeah.
see what you're saying. By say
Yeah.
it'd just be easier and more common to say, "Oh, I feel like that's not accurate,"
Yeah.
right?
Like, or that's not true at all. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, right. And then you said, "Oh yeah, that's true." But then I tried to make cannolis, and the mess I made of them is completely indefensible.
This
Uh,
is kind of fun. It's like a fun way to poke fun at yourself, right? That
yeah,
there was
yeah.
no excuse for how
Right. Yeah.
much I
You
botched it.
cannot defend that. I love that. So good.
Exactly.
This is a fun series and so important. Aubrey, what was part one of the series so our listeners could go back?
Yes, it came out on Saturday, October 25th. It was called Pesky Prefixes Part 1, Insecurity or Lack of Security. So this
Mm.
was an interesting student error that inspired this whole series.
Ah, I love it. Go check out that episode. And Aubrey, what's the takeaway? I mean, it always comes back to human connection. So what do we want to know here?
Yeah, this is interesting. Yes, it can be tricky to know whether to add in or un. It is not something that's going to keep you from being understood, right? But we do
Hmm.
hear native speakers make these mistakes as well. So don't let
Hmm.
that fool you, right? So we're
Yes.
just wanting you to know about these very common errors so that you can connect in English without worrying about them.
I love it. Great episode. Great topic today. Thanks for being on the show. And guys, hit the follow button right here on All Ears English if you love our show. All right.
Awesome. See you next time.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.